started to talk yesterday about the four kinds of the sons that the Torah speaks to. Just share with you a minute idea before. It's interesting, we read before, remember, we said in page 26, right? When we start to say that we're slaves in Egypt, Hashem took us out with his strong power, right? And we said that it's a mitzvah to tell the story of Mitzrayim. V'kol ha'marbeh, right? Whoever speaks about it more, right? So is meshubach. How you'll say meshubach? It's even better, right? Great, right? Meshubach, like good, very good. Once somebody gave a nice analogy for this, meaning it's showing that that person is a better person. Not that it's only a good thing to do, right? It's showing that that person is a better person, meaning the following. He used the analogy like this. It was once a prince, a son of a king that was captured, and it was a regular, simple son of a farmer that they were both captured. They took him far away, in the middle of nowhere. They were growing in the woods. The bandits were putting them to work, right? And they were suffering, and they barely gave them to eat, right? And they put them to work, and the clothing they didn't allow to wash every day. And they treat them literally almost like animals, right? So finally, right, after years and years, right, they make it out. And they're both walking together back to their town. So the son of the farmer is thinking and saying, whoa, hold on, right? It's like 8-10 years that passed by, right? That we were captured and we were over there. So now nobody will remember who is the real son of the king and who is the son of the farmer. He goes back to the palace and he says, hey, I'm the son of the king. I'm back, right? I was released. The bandits let me go. Wow, so the king is happy and the whole family, right? And they let him go in. And half hour later, the real son arrives and says, hey, right? Abba, I'm back. So starts a whole fight here. What's going on? The first one says, I'm the son of the king. And he says, I'm the son, right? And nobody recognizes it because after being in captivity for 10 years, you look how you look. Doesn't matter if you're the son of the farmer or the son of the king, you look the same. Right? So they really don't know what to do there in the palace. Comes one minister and he says like this, I have an idea. Let me investigate. Let me speak to both. So he goes to the first one, to the son of the farmer, the simple guy, and he says to him, tell me what you went through. Well, how's your life over there in captivity, right? Tell me what you went through. So he says, they put us to work and they barely gave us to sleep and we didn't have proper food, right? And we suffered. And he says, that's it? He says, well, that's not enough. I mean, hard work and not to eat so much, right? That's not enough. He says, fine. Calls the second guy. Right? And he says to him, no, let me hear your story. So he says, don't ask. You start the day, they wake you up early. Right? I don't get a proper breakfast. Right? They give me hard bread, dry bread with a little bit of water. Then they go send me to the forest to cut wood. I wait for the lunch and whatever, they give me some rotten vegetables, right? And then back to work. And then I'm not wearing my clothing that I'm used to, right? And then comes eventually after 10, 12 hours of work, I go to my bed. It's not my bed. I'm sleeping on straw and hay, right? I'm not used to it. And like that, right? He spreads out ideas. Now, who sounds the real one?
The second, because he's more detail.
Very good. So the second one, he sounds the real one. Why? Because he's telling you more details, what he went through, what was his suffering, what's considered suffering for him, right? You recognize from that he says, right, I didn't have my proper breakfast, I didn't have my regular lunch, right? He is the real one. That's the idea, guys. The more that you speak about the exodus of Egypt, is showing that you really don't fit in Egypt. Egypt was a bad place for you, right? You're showing that you're waiting to go out of there because you really don't belong there. In the Kabbalah says, it's such a concept. Did you hear the idea of 50 gates of impurity? The commentaries explain that the Jewish people were about to reach the 50th gate. And God, Hashem, took us out just before we get to enter the 50th gate. Commentaries explain that if you enter the 50th, there's no way back. So Hashem took us in the last minute, took us out from there, right? So therefore, the more that you're telling about the exodus of Egypt is showing, oh yeah, I really don't belong in Egypt. Okay, just another idea I would like to share with you. We spoke about the idea that all year round, what we do, we say Zchirat Yetziat Mitzrayim. We mention the exodus of Egypt. What we do on Pesach night, we talk about it. We tell a story. We ask questions. We give answers, right? We not only mention, we spend time on it, right? We spend the whole night of telling over the Haggadah lebincha. That's the idea of the Seder night. Are they connected or no? What do you think, guys? The mitzvah of the idea of mentioning all year round and the mitzvah of the Seder night to talk over, to speak over, and the whole thing. Is it connected or is two totally separate things?
Seems like it's connected.
Okay, so you're saying it's connected. How it's connected?
Seems so.
It's a separate. The action looks similar, but I'm sure it's different pasukim that are assigned to each.
Right. We derive it from different psukim. That's right. But the question is, right? If we look deeper, if they are connected or not, in one way or the other.
It's usually we mention it. We're not going to spend so much time and energy on it, and this is just our night to put it in detail and really share the story. And so every time we mention it, we can think about that and from what we learned during that Pesach night, we remember. It's not like we always have to go into detail every day.
Oh.
The daily one sustains what we did on Pesach.
What?
The daily mitzvah sustains that which we would call them Pesach night.
Very good, guys. That's the idea. The idea is like this. The Seder night really should give us power and energy for all year round. Somebody gave a beautiful analogy in the phones that we have today, right? You have a short call, right? You could put in your memory. 1 is home, right? 2 is dad. 3 is mom, yeah? 4 is your best friend, right? So what are you doing? You're dialing 4, and it dials the whole number, right? That's the idea. Seder night, you're installing, right? You're establishing, talking over, eating the matzah, eating the bitter herbs, right? Leaning, drinking the 4 cups of wine. You're installing that during the year, right? When you're going to mention the Exodus of Egypt, will remind you the Seder night. So all year round, we're doing the short call, right? We're just pressing 1 digit, right? But pressing 1 digit, that should remind you the whole number. When you're pressing 1 digit, what are you doing really, guys? You're dialing the whole number, right? That's the idea. The long number is the Seder night. That's what we spread all night. Is a mitzvah to talk, do the mitzvahs of the night, the offering of the Pesach, everything, right? But all year round, when we're just mentioning, we're doing the short call, right? We're pressing on 1 digit, but actually that should remind us, remember how we celebrate Pesach? That's the idea. So it's connecting us, really it is connecting, that the mentioning of the Pesach, right, is to remind you the Seder night. Right? The truth is, the idea is, that's what the life that we live, right? When you see, guys, you take you go to a trip, you see a beautiful view, beautiful mountain. What do? Take a picture. And then after, when you see the picture, remind you. That's right. You want memories of the good times, right? That's the idea. Seder night, you're installing spiritually in yourself, giving you power to remember that every night that you'll mention now will remind you to Seder night till next year. In the system of human being, this interesting idea. For how long do we remember?
Always.
Always. We don't forget?
Yeah. We should never forget.
We should never forget. Okay.
We do.
Well, we do. You know, it's a good side in that also. If you wouldn't forget, there would be big trouble. Certain things you should forget.
That's true.
don't forget this class, but certain things you should forget. Right? No? Yeah, right? You agree?
Like you forgive someone, you don't want to always remember.
Exactly.
You were at them.
Somebody upset you, right? If you had that anger and that upsetness forever, you wouldn't be able to live. Right? But you forget about it. So that's the upside of it. Nature, halachically, it says that we remember till 12 months. Murners. Somebody, God forbid, lost a father and mother. For how long he acts as a avel, as a mourner?
11.
11 he finishes to go to his obligation of being a chazan, but it's 12 months.
What does he do in the 11th month?
So it's like semi. He's almost done. He didn't finish the year, but he doesn't have obligation anymore to be the chazan. Okay. So it's a year. We have a mitzvah of remembering to get rid of Amalek. We have a mitzvah to read it once a year, right? So it's a cycle of a year that halachically, right? Interesting that it's brought down that what we usually remember goes on for a year. Okay, guys, Beseda, let's go on. Okay, we explained yesterday the Chacham, right? Page 28. We explained that he's asking, he's not saying. Right? Mahaidut, the testimony, the creeds, the rules, the simple rules, because he wants to know. And because that he's asking is a mitzvah to answer to him back, right? And not only what it says in the Torah, rather you should add to him even in detail, like the halachot of the Pesach. The offering of the Pesach used to be, when they eat the meal, the offering of the Pesach was bought the last one, because you should eat it when you're a little bit satisfied, like royalty, when the king is never hungry. So you're eating the offering of the Pesach, the last one. So the Haggadah, the rabbis that wrote the Haggadah are teaching us the idea, don't be lazy of teaching the wise son. He's curious, he wants to know. So teaching even the small detail of that you're not allowed to eat after the offering of the Pesach. In our days today that we do not have the offering of the Pesach, the last thing at the Seder night, we eat a piece of matzah, that's called the afikoman, and that is standing instead of the offering of the Pesach. And the custom is that the taste of the offering of the Pesach had to stay with you. So in our days that we don't have the offering of the Pesach, again, we're eating that matzah, and we do not eat after that piece of the matzah. Okay? So that piece of the matzah is called the afikoman. That's what we eat before we bench. And the custom is, just like we treat it like the offering of the Pesach. It's replacing with the offering of the Pesach.
We don't eat until when?
Till sunrise.
Not even water?
You're allowed to drink water. You are allowed to drink water. Water doesn't take away the taste, but not sweet drink and not soda and stuff like that.
So when people have seders, they go all night. You have to do afikoman before chatzos, yeah?
Oh, so I'll tell you what. The idea is like this. One opinion says till chatzot, and one opinion says you could do all night. We are strict, and we go with the opinion till midnight. Okay. However, if you see that your seder is going very long, and you're not going to finish on time, is a technique that you could do. You could eat one kazait and say that this is the afikoman before midnight. You could continue to eat, but you got to eat again another kazait for the afikoman. So wherever you go, the last thing that you're eating has to be that piece of matzah that's replacing the offering of the Pesach.
So you eat of the afikoman before chatzos?
One before, and you can continue and eat, but you'll have to eat again afikoman.
Okay.
That's
so
a technique.
You don't bench after you eat the first time.
That's right.
Okay.
People that see that it's taking them a long time and that they're not going to finish before midnight, they do this technique.
Okay.
But basically, most people go with the idea, we try to eat the afikoman before midnight. Okay? Why? Like the offering of the Pesach. Okay? And it's teaching us, don't be lazy, right? That's your obligation. Whoever wants to know, you got to teach him. Okay, Rasha. Okay, the evil. Let's see what's going on with the wicked son. Okay, the evil. What's the story with the evil? You know, it's very interesting that if you check out even the people, Jewish people that are far away from observing Torah and mitzvahs, the holiday that is most celebrated, even by secular people, is
Pesach? Really?
yes, yeah.
I would have said Hanukkah, naturally, or even Purim, but
I mean a Torah holiday.
no.
A Torah holiday will be, and even probably you're right. Hanukkah is big time, but a Torah holiday will be Pesach. Right now, to a certain degree, I'm not sure that they're doing the right thing, right? But why is that? But check it out. Check it out. Most people, all people that you meet, even secular people, they'll tell you we get together. What?
I don't meet any or know any secular people.
You don't know any secular people from when you came to the yeshiva, huh? It's very interesting. The idea behind it probably is because that's what makes you Jewish. You're born to a Jewish mom, right? So it's a fact. You're born to a Jewish mom, you're Jewish, right? The question is what you do with it, but you're Jewish, right? The idea is like this, right? What's the Exodus of Egypt? It's the birth of the Jewish people. So you really didn't have to do something. It's just a fact that we were taken out of Egypt and, so to speak, we were born, right? So everybody, in one way or the other, his soul is connected to that event. We all went out of Egypt. So even the Jew that is far away, and he's not keeping Torah and mitzvahs, he feels that he's connected to that event. You just tell him just say the word Passover. You see his eyes are opening. Pesach. Why? Because inside, deep in his soul, we're all connected. All the souls are all the Jewish souls are connected, and all events, mega events that happen to the Jewish people, even the people are far away, one way or the other, they're connected.
That seems like it's going back to like people staking, like
what?
Actually staking a claim to being like part of those direct descendants. What it seems like.
So I don't understand what are you saying.
It seems like the non-secular Jews are actually that would imply that they're stating that they are actually direct descendants from like the original Jews that were taken out of Egypt. What it seems like.
We all are.
Yeah, we all.
Well, I mean,
we all are connected to those souls, and that's why, in fact, it just explains the figure. If you have a different way to explain it, I'll be happy. But I think it's very simple. It's just straightforward that everybody feels connected to that event, because that's what it was. It was like the rabbis compared it was the birth of the Jewish people as a nation. So everybody's connected to that event. So they feel. It's a converts. It's a very interesting idea. One of the explanations on conversion, what I heard, is the following. It says before God offered the Torah to the Jewish people, he went to ask other nations as well. Mm-hmm. And they refused. They said,
so
what?
It's funny. We're called the chosen people. Or the choosing people.
It's both ways. It's both ways.
How and what way were you chosen?
We're the chosen people because God chose Abraham, and we're the descendants of Abraham, right? And we said Nasa v'nishma. So it's both ways.
You think if you knew that everyone else was going to say no, he would have just came right to us first.
Okay, hold on, Rega. So hold on. So the tradition is, it's a medrash that it says that he offered the Torah to the others as well, okay? And they said no. There were individuals that probably wanted to say yes, and they said yes, but you follow majority. So commentaries explain, it's a Kabbalistic idea, the commentaries explain that people that are converting to Judaism are descendants of those people that wanted to say yes, or said yes, and they were voted out by majority.
That's so cool.
By the way, also the other way around. Commentaries explain, the Jews said, we'll do and we'll listen, right? There were a few individuals that probably didn't want, and they're the ones that are backing out. So it's both ways.
That's awesome.
Okay, let's go, guys. So, Rasha Mahu Omer, what the evil one says. Maha avodah, what's this work for you? Lachem velo lo. How many problems you see in this line?
Mine says the wicked son, not the evil son.
Oh, so...
Isn't avodah service, not work?
Oh, so it could be used for both.
Like,
it could be service and it could be work. The way that he's saying it, it sounds like as a complaint. What is all this for you? What's the purpose of doing this? You see, so first of all, the problems. Let's see what's the problem with this. So first he's saying a statement. He's not asking like the wise son, right? He's just saying a statement. When somebody is saying a statement, right? He's not waiting for an answer. He wants to say his point and that's it, right? So, Rasha ma hu omer, right? Ma havodah azot lachem. Let me show you in the Torah. Give me a book, please. So yesterday I showed you that by the wise man it said, by the wise son, it said, Ki ishalcha bincha, when your son will ask you. The wise wants to know, he's asking. By the wicked, it says the following. So if you look a minute, guys, in the Chumash, page 356, 357 in the English, verse 25, when you'll come into the land that Hashem will give to us, and you'll keep serving God, this work, V'haya ki yomru elechem b'neichem, and when your sons will tell you, right, Maha avodah hazot lachem.
And here they do translate it as service.
Service, okay. Right. So service is a positive thing. Right. But in a way, it could be that he's asking even what's the purpose of this service. So you could say avodah could mean work, but even if it means service, he's asking what's the purpose of this service? Why are we doing this? Right? Okay? So number one, he's saying a statement, he's not asking. Number two, he's not saying what are the mitzvot. He's calling it avodah, as service. What's the purpose of serving God? Okay? Why you need it? Third problem, he's excluding himself, right? He's saying lachem, for you, but I have no interest in what you're doing, right? So when he sees his parent, his father, his uncle, his family going and getting together on the offering of the Pesach and the matzah and all that, he's asking, what is this service? What is this? For what's the purpose of this? Okay, look what it says in the Torah. Ve'amartem, and you should say, Zevach Pesach, this is the offering of the Pesach, Lashem, to Hashem, Asher Pasach, that God was passing over on the homes of Bnei Israel and the children of Israel in Egypt. Right? This is the story of that Hashem told the Jewish people in Egypt, right? That they should put the blood of the Pesach offering on the post of the door. And at that night, when it will be the 10th plague of killing the firstborn, right? He'll skip the houses that have the blood on the doorpost, right? So, you see the answer, right? So tell him, you know why we're doing this offering of the Pesach? Because it's to remind us the idea of God passing over the houses of the Jewish people, and he punished the Egyptians, and the Jewish people was saved.
Why again do we see the answers given in the Haggadah don't match the Chumash?
What?
Yeah. Why do we see, like we saw last time, the answer given in the Haggadah don't match
yeah, that's what I'm coming to explain exactly. Look at the Haggadah. What are we answering?
Which answer?
What are we saying in the Haggadah? Are we giving that answer or no?
Not at all.
What says?
In the Haggadah?
Mm-hmm.
It says, blunt his teeth and tell him, is because of this that Hashem did so for me when I went out of Egypt. For me, but not for him, had he been there, he would not have been redeemed. And the Torah's answer is...
Okay. So the Torah seems to be is giving answer. Told him the offering of the Pesach, right? Give him detail. What we're saying in the Haggadah, basically just stump him, don't answer him, right? So what's going on? So there are a few approaches on this. The Malbim says the following. The Malbim is saying like this: we are not giving the answer of the Torah. If you look carefully, the Malbim says the following. The Malbim says, when it says in the Torah, "V'amartem zevach Pesach," you should say that it's an offering of the Pesach. The Malbim is saying that when your son is asking such a question, when your son is saying such a statement, what is this service? What's the purpose, right? He's like, see, his point of view, he's saying there's no idea or no purpose for doing mitzvahs. So the idea is really there's no purpose of answering the wicked son. There's no purpose of answering, there's no idea of answering somebody that doesn't want to hear. When somebody wants to hear, it's an idea to answer back. But when somebody is not listening, he's just saying a statement he doesn't want to hear, no point to answer him back. Therefore, we are not giving him an answer. The Baal Haggadah is saying, just hit him in the teeth. That's what he's saying, right? Right? What is that? The idea is like this. We're not giving to you an answer. And he learns out that when it says here, you should say, it means you're talking to yourself. This is what you're saying. When the son, wicked son, is saying that statement, what is the service? Why are you doing this? What's the purpose? You should say to yourself, this is not an answer to the wicked son. That's how the Malbim is saying. It doesn't say, V'amartem lo, you should say to him. It just says, V'amartem, you should say. The Malbim learns out from it, this is an answer to yourself. That you don't want to, it's an answer to yourself. You just heard now the statement, the bad statement of the wicked son. Why to do this? Yes, I'm answering to myself. I know why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to remember the offering of the Pesach, to remember at the night of Pesach when God was passing over the doors of the Jews. That's why I'm doing the Pesach offering. It's for myself. I'm not entering the wicked son. It's such an idea. What it means here to hit him in his teeth.
Like just to
what that means.
shove the point through to him, like, that he's not going to listen. There's no like reason to reason.
Right. So we get the idea. There's no idea of answering back. Is that right? Is that clear? Well, he doesn't want to hear, so there's no answering back. And that's why the idea is like this. We just say to him, right? You're right. You just exclude yourself out from the Jewish people. You said, what is all this service for you guys, not me? Your God. Now, he's not my God, right? You know what? You're right. If you were there, you wouldn't be redeemed. Because actually in tradition that we have, the wicked people were not redeemed. It says in the days of darkness, according to one approach, one view, 80% died. All of the Jewish people that went out of Egypt is only 20%. So we just told him, we just stumped him. We just say to him, you're right. This is what you want to be. You're right. For you, there's no purpose to do the offering of the Pesach, because if you were there, you wouldn't be redeemed. The righteous people that are willing to fulfill the will of God and understand that the place is not Egypt and there's a mission for them to be, and they want to go out of Egypt and to follow the instructions and the commandments of God, here we go, they'll be redeemed. But you wouldn't be redeemed. And the idea is like this: how you lose your color of the teeth, of the tooth? If you ate bad food, right? So what you eat, that's what stays, right, in the tooth, right? We're saying whatever your philosophy, whatever you put yourself in that position, this is what you are, right? Just exactly with the food. The food that you ate, that's what's going to be in your mouth, right? That'll affect your tooth, right? Also the position where you want to be, that's where you'll be. You want to be with the righteous people, or you want to be with the evil people. You yourself, by excluding yourself, taking you out, right, going away from with everybody together, you put yourself in that position. Okay. Hasidim saw this a little bit to be positive, guys. The Hasidim say that although the wicked, right, he's asking what's the purpose and why you're doing it, but the good news is
he's asking.
He's saying, but he came to the Seder night.
Yeah.
Right? So he's
saying
still hope there.
He's got a problem. At least he's
exactly.
got a problem.
He has a problem, but he's still aware to what's going on, and he's saying something, and he showed to the Seder night. He came. So even though he's far away, That's right, exactly, guys. So it's a nice idea that Hasidim say here. You see how far away, and his view is wrong, and all what he's asking is not good. But he's still joining the Seder.
He's still making you say it to yourself, too.
Okay, very good. Okay, right. He's still one of the sons. That's right. So there's something positive in it also, guys.
Is there a connection between this and the 4 species then by Shlomo?
To the 4 sons, to the 4 species? Oh, yeah. It might be, because they say over there somebody that is empty, no good actions and no Torah, and somebody that has both, right? Might work out, yeah. Interesting what you're saying. Joshua is saying on Sukkot we have the 4 species, Arba Minim. It says the etrog has a good smell and a good taste. Has both, yeah. I mean, especially if you add sugar, so it makes it even more better. But basically, you could eat it, and it has a good smell. So that's saying that's the tzaddikim. They have good actions and they have Torah. The second kind is hadas, that has only a good smell, but you can't eat it. So that's the people that have good actions, good deeds, but no Torah. They don't study. The lulav is the palm tree, right? The palm tree is dates. The dates you eat, but no smell. Those are the people that have fruit, meaning they have Torah, but not good deeds. And the last one is the arava, is no smell, and no, you can't eat it. It's not edible. Those are the wicked people that don't have both. And on Sukkot, we gather them together. So maybe this is also the idea that we get everybody to the table. Yeah? You see, the idea really is even on the wicked, we don't give up. But that's the answer we'll give him. But he's still involved. Okay. The simple one. Tam. So where's Tam? Let me just show you the verse.
Tam, simple?
Simple, yes. What is simple? What do you think? What's simple? We have the wise, we have the wicked, and we have the simple. What's the simple? What do you think simple is?
He does what he's supposed to do, kind of nothing special though, maybe. Like he does, almost not a bare minimum, but he does what he should do. He's a good person, but he's not striving. He's not like striving for more.
No, perfect tzaddik.
Something like that.
No, perfect tzaddik. He's beyond the level of logic and just supposed to go.
So you see, the tam means the idea is like this: somebody that doesn't see too deep. That's what it means over here. Not like the wise that could hear something and spread out the idea and do research about the idea and to hear more details. Simple means at this matter over here, means something that doesn't really understand deep inside.
But you're supposed to do it, so he does it.
Yeah.
I was a very different shot for this guy.
What?
I was told that he's the perfect tzaddik who's at a level where he's just so in awe of Hashem, he realizes he can't understand.
So the idea is like this.
Right, but it's a higher level too.
No, he's above the wise son. He's realized it's all incomprehensible, and he's just left with love of Hashem. But he realizes he's not going to be able to understand it.
But that's.
Now I'll tell you, Joshua, you are right. It does say Tamim is a verse that says that we should be simple with God. Tamim tiyeh Hashem Elokecha. But that's referring to the idea we shouldn't ask questions. Whatever we're told to do, we should do. There are times in life that we have major questions. Why this? Right? This, right? Why good people are suffering? Why wicked people are getting rewarded? Right? We have many questions in life, right? So it says, Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. Be simple with God, because we believe that God sees the whole picture. We're only one piece of the puzzle. We never have the whole picture. The only one that really sees the whole picture is God. So he knows why things are happening. So basically it says, be simple and rely on him. That is a reason for what's happening. But over here, Tam means is sort of, you see, it's not a problem. We're not saying something bad in him, but it just means somebody that doesn't know to to ask questions on his own. I'll give you an example. You know where the Tam is mentioning? Where the son of Tam. So the Tam is mentioning in the mitzvah is a mitzvah that the firstborn of a sheep, you have to, the firstborn of a donkey. Yeah? Peter Chamo. Are you familiar with the mitzvah of Peter Chamo?
What's that?
There's a special mitzvah in the Torah. The firstborn donkey, you have to redeem him on a sheep. And if you don't redeem him, you have to bring him as an offering. Why donkey? So there's a tradition that says that the donkeys were helping the Jewish people to carry all what they went out of Egypt. So there's another mitzvah to remember the exodus of Egypt. Now, this is a bit strange, right? You have to redeem the firstborn donkey, and if no, you bring him as offering, you have to take off his head. Over there, the Tam, right, is asking, what is this? So if you're with me, page 364, okay? So you with me, guys? You see over there? Verse 12, right? So all firstborn donkey you should redeem with a sheep, and if you don't, you got to, right, take off his head. As well, all firstborn of human being you got to redeem. Now, 14, you see? V'haya ki shalcha, your son will ask you, right? Later on, your son will ask you, mazo, what the son is asking. What is this all about? What's going on here? You see, the Tam, we need something strange to wake him up to ask. He's not like the wise man that he's curious because he wants knowledge. He wants to know what's testimony, what are the decrees, what are the rules. The Tam, he wakes up when he sees something strange. Wow, redeeming the first donkey, what's going on here? Right, you got to redeem the firstborn donkey with a sheep, what's going on here? When he sees something strange, he wakes up. So it's helping the simple son to wake up to ask the question. And therefore we have a mitzvah to answer him back. Also over here, guys, you see he's asking. He's not saying, he's asking. In verse 14, he's asking. So he's actually similar to the wise, but he's not wise enough like the wise son. So he's okay.
It's more to get him involved.
Yeah, exactly. It's to help him to get him involved. And that's actually, guys, in a Seder night, it says that we do a few things that are strange to wake up the children. That's waking up the simple son, right? It says that we give away nuts, goodies, we move around the table, the plate, that they should ask, hey, Father, what's going on? Okay? That's the idea. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day.